Hi, can you hear me? I'm trying a new setup. I have a different microphone, so it would be nice if you can let me know if you can hear me. And just say hi, where you're from and what you're doing. Hi, yes. Oh, cool. I'm glad. Vashno, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me okay. Let's see. What should we talk about today? It's been a while since I did the last live stream, and I figured it's time to do another one. Maybe there's a specific topic you would like us to talk about, see how things are going, and yeah, just open for any conversations and any questions or yeah. Let's see. We'll have probably a few more minutes for people to join. Oh my God. Shah. Hi. Thank you. How are you doing? Okay. Hopefully you're doing fine. I can't believe it's like, I don't know how it's for you, but where I'm from, the summer begins June 1st and ends August 31st. And right now we are August 29th. And I cannot believe that summer is almost over. Yeah. Okay. You're suggesting how to crack interviews for software developer engineers, right? SDs, software development engineers. Oh my God, this is such an inappropriate appropriate time to ask this question, to be honest, because I'm about to graduate from my bootcamp, and as of 2 weeks from now, I'll be starting the job search process, and yeah, I will have to figure out how to how to crack the coding interview. So let's see. Hello, Shah. Hello as well. Can't wait for the stream. Dazzle up. Ivan Petrov. Hello from St. Petersburg. Hi. What time is it in St. Petersburg right now? It's like, I think it's midnight or something like that. That's crazy. Okay, so to address the question that how to crack a coding interview, I don't think I have one straightforward answer. 120, yeah. Well, thank you for being here. Hello for what? Okay, I will try to read the name again. Denix. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Hello, where are you from? Okay, getting to the how to USA, which part? Cracking the coding interview. So basically, I will be straightforward with you. As a software developer, I can do what's needed for the job, but when it comes to interview, it's kind of tough to go into interviews and crack the algorithm. Oh my God, like it's not as simple. And I'm trying to figure out how what tips to suggest how to crack a coding interview, but it all depends, and I believe you have to practice and practice and practice and get into a mindset. So kind of the approach that I'll recommend to do is basically either get a book, the coding cracking interviews or elements of coding interview. And there are many other resources online that might help to do this. Probably practice elite code problems, HackerRank problems, Geek for Geeks. There are many open resources right now that help with this. And once you kind of feel more comfortable doing this, this solving algorithms, probably it makes sense to try to pair with somebody and solve those problems with somebody like mock interview. Because it's one when you do this by yourself, but when you're with somebody else, it's a completely different story, because you can you kind of get into the mindset that you are imagining actually talking with somebody and explaining things. So if you have a friend, you can do mock interviews, that's great. And if not, there are resources such as, what is it? I don't remember. I will try to find it right now. It's kind of basically mock interviews with somebody. You schedule it and you can do interviews with them. There's also Interview Cake that helps prep. Yes, exactly. That's the one. I haven't tried it. I actually signed up for it just like 3 days ago. So I haven't tried it yet, but definitely, yes, that's one thing. Another thing that I'm planning to do to prep for getting past or cracked coding interview is to join. There's a Discord, is a CDS Skills, I believe it's called, and it's basically they daily pick 3 problems from lead code. It's one simple, one medium, and one hard. And in the morning, the people join and they go through the problems, ask questions, and then you have time to solve the problems by yourself. And in the evening, I think you get together to discuss any questions or any complications or any clarifications for the problem. So kind of join a group that can help you prep for that. That's kind of what I'm planning to do. Okay, you have a Greek name. I apologize. I cannot pronounce names and other words as well. You're from East Coast. Digital Charlene, do you think those types of coding questions are good to use in interviews? What do you mean those kinds of questions? Are you referring to the questions you are seeing on LeetCode, or which questions are you referring to? So most of the time, you probably won't get a question that you find on LeetCode or anything like that. That's not the kind of the purpose. The purpose is not to actually solve all the problems and kind of know the solution for all the problems. The purpose is basically to train your mind. It's kind of a muscle, right? So let's say I will do an analogy. You might be running, right? So you're a runner. But you have to do a marathon, right? You can run, but the marathon, maybe the analogy is not good, but maybe a sprint that you have to do or something like that. And even though you're a runner, you have to prep, you have to get your muscles ready and to be able to do that challenge that you want to do. So solving this kind of problems, the LeetCode problems, or this algorithms and data structures problems that are there, they kind of get you in the mindset of solving those kind of problems, because in reality, the chances that you actually be doing those kind of problems during your job are really, really low. Yeah, so maybe the analogy that I picked is not the best, but yeah, another thing that what I'm planning to do to crack the coding interviews, actually I'm using, I also have Algo Expert, which is a paid service. So if you have the resources to get that, it's good. I recommend it. But if you don't have the resources, you don't have really to do that, because there are plenty of resources that already are available there. Like this, there's a link, probably I will add it later on in the description, is like on Quora. There's like 500 data structures and algorithms that you can solve, and you have the problems, I believe you have hints there as well, and you have the solutions. The only kind of downside with that, I think it's solved only in Java or only Python. So Clement's course, it's a platform that Clement Mihalescu has it, Algo Expert. I had it since last year, and I bought it even before I knew that I'll have to crack coding interviews. Because I just wanted to stay sharp and just try to solve at least one algorithm a week or something like that. Now the situation is different, so I'll be probably trying to solve at least one a day. Yeah. What else? What I was saying is that if you have the opportunity to get the Algo Expert, Clemens Mihalescu platform or service that he has, it's good. But it's not really required to pass an interview. There are plenty of resources that you can do and just find those questions on Quora. And there are also a lot of other open platforms that provide the questions, and you can train. But the best approach is to actually a mock interview with somebody. Ahmad from the UK here. Well, welcome. How are you finding the job market now in the US? The job market is, I don't know, to be honest, because I haven't tried it yet. But from right now in the bootcamp session where we are, or phase where we are working with career coaches, and they're saying that it's actually pretty good right now. There are a lot of job searches. Not job searches, job opportunities available out there. And just through the time I've been in the bootcamp, I've been approached for interviews. I had a request to interview with Volkswagen United States. They asked me for an interview. Then I had a couple of interviews with Amazon. And then there was at least like during this 6 months, even though I didn't had the setting that I'm looking for a job, I had probably 10 requests for interviews, which I did them. So I think that the job market is okay. I won't say that all sectors in tech are fine, but the majority are doing pretty well. Okay, but the question in mind, you will be joining a senior dev, right? Yes, I will be joining a senior dev because even though I did a bootcamp, I learned something else, but I still have experience as a developer. So it's not that I don't know how to do a project start to end. It's not that I don't know how to design a project. I know all of that stuff. Basically what I learned just a different stack, right? Everything that I was doing until this point, it was C#, it was everything .NET. And from like what I did in the bootcamp, I was learning web development, which is JavaScript, Python, REST, Express, what do they say? RESTful APIs, React, that's what I wanted to say, React, Redux hooks, Docker, Flask, and all of that stuff, right? All stuff related to web development and microservices. So that is new, but that doesn't mean I'm an entry-level developer. Abdullahi, okay. The messages appear for 10 seconds and they go away and I need to... have you heard of Jave Pro Plus? It's a new programming language from Somalia. No, I haven't heard of it. It's the first time I hear about it. What's specific about it? I'll have to check it out. Okay. What did I want to say to the earlier question? One of my teammates, I mentioned that in the previous video, one of my teammates, the project that he's doing, the capstone project that he's doing an application that is scraping the tech job markets, like sites that offer jobs, and he just wanted to see and how to find the jobs that are the most applicable to his level or to his criteria. And from his the result that he was getting for the area and for the criteria he had, it was like 381 or something like that during the demo he was showing. So, and I believe those are for entry level and mid level that he was looking at. So to answer your question regarding what is the job market right now in the US, I think it's pretty okay. It's normal, I would say. Okay, messages coming. I want to see you. Vishnu, have you interviewed at Google? How different Google interviews from other companies? Yes, I did interview with Google. It was last year, actually. I'm looking at my Google guest. I will show it. I try to keep different memorabilia. That's from my Google interview. So I'll be honest. The Google interview was really good. I had in mind something scary. I had in mind that it's really tough and, I don't know, crazy, to be honest, because a lot of people are saying that it's hard to get the job there. So when I was going in for the interview, I had in mind, my expectations were that will be really tough. And I got to the interview, everything was super organized, well coordinated. Everything was done as, I don't know, professionally, I would say that. And there were minor technical difficulties, but other than that, the questions were reasonable. The questions were not kind of this weird algorithm questions like you see on lead code or something like that. At least from 5 interviews, 3, I think, because one was a behavioral question. 3 were reasonable questions, something that you can solve, no problem. At least I didn't have any challenges with that. But one, it was definitely an algorithm, and it was 2D matrix. It was a 2D array that I had to solve, and that was something that I haven't done in a while. I didn't have time to prep for that aspect, so I kind of sucked at that one. I was not able to solve that one. Did you tell Shaolin, what type of apps did you do with .NET? So I was doing an ERP enterprise software, like it's an MES manufacturing application, like manufacturer systems software. Question. And to address the question about the Google interview, also, I don't think I answered completely that question. How does it differ from the other companies? So kind of around the same time when I had my Google interview, I had an interview with Microsoft and I had an interview with Amazon. And from all of those companies that I interviewed during that time, my top favorite was Google, the second was Microsoft, and the least that I enjoyed the process was with Amazon. The Amazon interviewer was kind of, I don't know, it was not good at all. And I'm not saying that the process was not okay. It was usually when you're on an interview trying to communicate with the interviewer, kind of try to work with that person, and that was not the case with the Amazon interview, that previous one. So yeah, and again, those might be one-off cases, maybe different interview processes, different interviews you might get, but I found the Google interview pretty reasonable. Yvonne, how do you improve social networking among programmers? I want to make friends, but at work, I just talk with my team. At events, I know nobody, so hard to join that group. Are you already a programmer? Okay, so kind of right now it's really tough, but how do you improve networking among programmers? You have to find somebody that you can click on and you have an interest. And that interest, to be honest, it's not necessary to be programming only, because I would say I was pretty good at networking and making friends, and I have a decent network and among developers and product managers and directors and different levels of professionals. And we kind of found stuff that we had something in common, something that clicked. Let's say we had people that I really like to talk about running. Like a lot of developers that I know, we would chat about running because they both, like we all ran, and like, okay, what is the next run you're doing or something like that. It's kind of basically you try to find something that you both have in common and just try to get that going naturally. See what are the interests. Like, do you have in common an interest for books? Do you have in common interest for video games? Do you have in common, I don't know, maybe all of you like sports car, and kind of just try to find something that to connect on. And that connection has to be not necessarily programming. Other than that, just not sure. Like, try to, right, networking right now is not a good, I mean, the in-person network is not a good solution right now, but even among your colleagues, see when you can help, see when you can assist with something. Maybe you can help, maybe they can help you. Like, or like at work, we had a group of people we were joining once a month every Friday. We created a development group, experimental developer group, and we were meeting once a month, and we were trying to do something that we don't do at work. Like, it's not part of our it was not part of our job. Like, we were .NET developers, and what we were doing, we were trying to do something with Azure. We were trying to do Git, because at work we were not doing Git. At work we were doing VSTS and Azure DevOps. So we were trying to get into Git, and then we were doing IoT. So we were trying to experiment, and we bonded like that. We wanted to try something together and try to see if we can do something fun. And it was a different level developers and director. I think we had a director in the group. So yeah, you just have to find something that you both have in common. Okay, question. Hopefully I answered that question. And at events, I know nobody, so hard to join that group. At events, like, what are you doing when you're at events? Are you there and you are on site looking at your phone? So if you're just looking at your phone, nobody will approach you, right? So you have to kind of be open for somebody to approach you. Actually last week I watched a tech talk about this, and you find the secret there is just you go and find a group of 3 people, and a 3 people group that is not closed, and you join them and you start to talk and you approach them and say, it's okay if I join you, and I'm sure they will say yes, and then you join and you get to know each other. And I'm talking about this and it sounds easy, but I'm awkward about that as well, and it's hard to connect. But once I feel more comfortable, once I say, this is my goal, I'll try to do this, it becomes a little bit easier. Bashal, ¿has pensado, probablemente estás preguntando si estoy pensando en la posibilidad de ser a freelancer? So Bashal is asking, I think what he's asking is that if I'm thinking about is it possible that I want to be a freelancer or something like that, right? Or if somebody should be a freelancer. I'm not sure. Maybe I won't say no and I won't say yes. There's always stuff that I'm interested in. There are so many things there. There are more things that I'm interested in than I can do. So at the end of the day, or let's say at the end, like at the quarter or end of the year, I'm trying to sort out my goals and try to see what I want to do and where my interests are. And if my interests are towards a specific area, that's what I'm trying to do. But I won't say that I never thought about this, or I will say, no, I will never do, or yes, I will do it. It's open for the possibilities. So, Bashal, sí es posible, pero no estoy segura si lo voy a hacer. Probablemente no. Abdullah, do you use eye drops? I stopped coding because of dry eyes. No, I don't use drops for eyes or anything like that. It's important to have good lighting. When you're coding, make sure that you have good lighting. That's important because otherwise your eyes are suffering. And also, a lot of people are kind of underestimating the importance of a good monitor, having a good refresh rate and all that stuff. It's really important. So right now I have 3 monitors, but only one is good. The other ones are crappy. They're really bad. So my primary monitor is a really good monitor. It's actually my husband's monitor. He bought it to himself like probably 7 years ago, and still, like, even now it's an amazing monitor. So I started to use that. So no, I'm not using drops for eyes, but make sure that you have a good lighting, and if you have that opportunity to get a monitor with good refresh rate, and I would recommend to invest in that, because you have to protect your eyes. Team bunk. You can find great programming communities on Discord. Funny that you say that. I actually joined Discord 3 days ago. So yes, really good suggestion. Thank you for chiming in on that, Ivan. It's a good opportunity, Discord. There are a lot of good opportunities to connect and network. Oops, I don't know if somehow I blocked somebody. I think that's what I did. So if I did, my apologies. So Ivan, try Discord. Like, I think there's a virtual, the one that I will recommend right now. Let me find it. I will open my Discord and I'll tell you exactly which one it is. What's the name? It's called SDS Skills. So it's basically this one. And this is a really good resource if you want to prep for interviews, but also they have different talks about software engineering. There's a book club, there are career advice, general introduction, asking questions, mock-up interviews, and any other stuff. So that's one one resource that I recommend. So yeah, what Discord channels would you recommend, Tim? Okay. Ahmad, I work with .NET as well, but with my side project in Python, NodeJS, and React, I'm not sure if I should invest more time in them and maybe get a job with the stack. What do you think? So, I believe in web development. Otherwise, I would have not invested the last 6 months into it. I invested a lot in it, and it's not only me who invested it. My entire family invested it. My husband helped me a lot to give me this opportunity to focus on this. So, what I'm trying to say is that yes, definitely, I would recommend to invest in it. And hopefully, you know or heard of Scott Hanselman. He's one of my not my mentors. He's one of my role models. I really like him. I like his ethics and his approach to life and what he's doing. He has a couple of podcasts. He has a blog. He's kind of, yeah, as I said, one of my role models. And recently I started to watch a lot of his talks. And in one of his talks, he said that the best scenario that you can set yourself for, or the best languages you can know, it's to know C# and know JavaScript. So if you know C# and web development, you're set for success, and the future is in web development. At least that's what he said. And since he's one of my role models, and you can tell that I trust his words. So to answer your question, yes, I believe you should to continue with both. Maintain the .NET and develop the Python, Node.js, and React, and develop them. They are important. Risha, new mic sounds good. Yes, it's a new mic. I recently purchased it, and because a lot of you were saying that the content is good, but the mic could be better, or get the volume up. So the microphone that I had, I think it was time for me to replace it, and I still try to configure this mic. Sometimes I think it has some static, so I'm trying to configure it correctly. So today's a new configuration, so I'm glad to hear that the sound is good. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you. Norfolk, hello. Your accent is so awesome. Well, thank you. I'm trying to pronounce things correctly, and sometimes the accent is getting in the way. Risha, Angular, React or Angular. I have started studying React. So I cannot tell you Angular or React because actually the only thing I know it's React. So I cannot tell you which one is better because I haven't tried Angular, but React is pretty awesome. So, and I believe they are pretty the same from what I heard from talking with different people. they say that they're the same. And actually, there are a lot of people who love React or like React better than Angular. Denies. Thanks. I have to go. Good luck, everyone. Well, thank you, thank you for joining, and hopefully to see you next time. And have a good day. Pașol. ¿Cuál crees que son los errores más comunes de los devs que recién comienzan a trabajar? Okay, Bashal is asking, what are the most common mistakes that developers are making, especially for those who are just starting to develop? And I think that a lot of mistakes that they're doing, they're not necessarily, maybe are in the developing, actually, the syntax or anything like that, but one, not ask for help when it's appropriate. Like if you are trying to solve something and you cannot get your head around it and it's already 30 minutes that you're trying without getting any progress, then it's time to ask for help. And asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's actually a sign of strength. It's not easy to go and ask for help and say, look, I need your assistance. Another mistake that they're doing is not trying to get probably something perfect from first try. And software engineering, it's a process that takes time, and you just iteratively improve it. Don't try to get it right from the first try. You implement something, it's kind of try to do the MVP, and probably the majority of mistakes that are done is like somebody's trying to run before they even can walk. Those are kind of the mistakes that I noticed. And also kind of having this idea that you either know what to do or don't know. Like there is like 1 or 0, but there might be that you don't know what to do, but as you research, as you try something, you get to the point of understanding what needs to be done. So I would say that's kind of one of the mistakes. Another mistake is not keeping up with the progress that they're having. Like if they learn something and they drop it, they don't learn something. Or another mistake that I noticed is that just trying to know everything, kind of, oh, I want to know JavaScript, I want to know Python, want to know Go, I want to know this, I want to know that. And instead of being really good at one thing, they are spread thin, they know a little bit of everything, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I noticed. Ahmed, thanks a lot. Risha, yes, React is awesome. Yes, I can do it, I can testify it's awesome. I cannot compare it with Angular because I really don't know. Recently, Flutter started to be more popular, and I'm interested in learning next Flutter. I don't know when next is, but I will try to do something with Flutter as well. Tim Bung, if you're interested in the game programming, I would suggest to join the Game Dev Network. I don't know that many Discord networks, as I only follow game developer related networks. Okay, thank you. Digital Shaolin, did they teach functional components at the bootcamp or class components as far as the best practices? We did had a little bit of functioning components, but yeah, nothing with best practices, or just an introduction, I would say. Okay. In React. With the React, what we did with React, we did classes, we did Redux, and then we started to do React hooks, and I kind of started to focus more on the React hooks. I kind of didn't really like Redux. So yeah. Okay, let's have a hard stop in 10 minutes, so there are a couple more, like 10 more minutes that I can do. So if you have any questions that you want us to address right now, make sure to drop them in the chat right now. Ufuk, how can I start for AI? Well, how can you start with anything? You find a good course probably, and hopefully you don't get into the scandal channel that is with the AI. But like you start with anything, AI or programming or web development or anything like that. You start the same. You start to research something. You kind of try to come up with a plan. Like, what time do you have? How will you learn? Like, what will you learn? So you try to come up with a plan that you will have stuff to read, kind of understand the theoretical part of it, but also understand the practice. So make sure that when you learn something, you read something, you apply it. So don't try to do something that, oh, I will read or I'll watch a course, like the course, let's say 18 hours, and you watch the course and then you start to program. I'll recommend that whatever AI course you pick up or a book that you pick up, you read a chapter or you read a topic and you immediately start to practice with it. Other than that, I'm not sure what I can suggest because I haven't done AI. So yeah. James Foreman, Python. I don't know, what do you mean by Python? Like, do you love Python? Do you recommend Python? But anyways, thank you for the comment. Awari, hi, Digital Shaolin. Did you get any offers on your interviews with those big companies? No, I haven't. I didn't get any offers with those companies. I recently had an interview with Amazon. It was a few weeks ago. So I passed the first round and the second round I failed. So yeah, it was a really tough question, but yeah. I mean math topics, like how do you start with math topics for AI? Is that your question? Tim Bunk, use Udemy to make AI and read books. To make AIs, yeah. I would say Udemy is a good platform to learn AI. That's at least what I heard. And I think, what was the other one? You can find something on Coursera as well. I believe there are free ones there. AI is competitive. If you're not PhD published, good luck. Yeah, I agree. I would say it's a little bit kind of more high profile, a little bit. It's a higher barrier to entry there, but I might be wrong. But that's kind of what is the feeling, I would say. Tina, hi. Luis, hola. ¿De dónde estás? ¿De dónde nos unes, Luis? Mi español está... No recuerdo cuándo fue la última vez que hablé en español, así que Ecuador. Bienvenido. Nunca fui a Ecuador. Espero que alguna vez voy a visitar. Okay. So yeah. Well, I'm glad that we had a chance to chat. If you have any other questions. Okay. Okay. Tina, do you recommend Coursera Learning Path, like a pack of machine learning or computer science courses? Yeah, why not? Like, honestly, all the available courses are good as long as you learn something and you try to apply into practice immediately what you learned. Don't try to do all the course and not practice. Actually, practice is how you get the information. So I would definitely recommend it. Ivan, good luck to you. Thank you. Good luck to you too. Fook, thanks. Gray, hi. What do you think of Python? Is easier to learn than JavaScript? Because that's my experience. Actually, in my case, for me, it was easier to learn JavaScript. How weird is that? I feel more comfortable with JavaScript, but that has to be taken with a grain of salt because I spend more time programming in Python than, in JavaScript than in Python. So right now, when I have interviews with tech interviews, I'm choosing to do JavaScript rather than Python. I'm more comfortable with JavaScript for whatever reason, but yeah. But there are a lot of stuff that is easier in Python. Awari, watching in Seattle. Are you in Seattle? Do you happy in US? Are you probably you're asking if I'm happy in the US as a software developer? Yes, definitely. I think software engineering, it's one of the best places to be in is in United States. But there are other places, awesome places like Israel is a good place there. I think Baltic countries like Estonia, Helsinki, Finland, it's also a good place. Lithuania, those places are also great for software engineering. Compounder, learn C and Java and all the languages will be easy. I actually know C and I know Java as well. So the challenge for me was to kind of wrap my head around about the specifics. Like the weird thing that you look at in JavaScript, you have the code exactly the same, and it will exactly the same, but only one difference in one case will be that the parentheses after the return, if it's in the next line, you will get undefined. It won't recognize that the code that has to be executed afterwards. Immediately when after return there's nothing, it will add a semicolon there automatically if you don't see it. So there are these nuances that are unexpected. So I don't think I had anything like that in C or in Java. I learned Python first, but I think the Code Academy course for JavaScript are way better and easier to digest. It might be the case, and also a lot of times makes a difference. The teacher or the course, a lot of it makes a difference. But the books that I started to read on Python, they were pretty good for the Python. Awari, yep. Well, I hope you're enjoying Seattle. It's a nice area. Compounder, JavaScript is love. I'm not sure. For me, C# is love. But to each its own. So I respect that. Nerilus, guys, do you really gain money from stocks? There's little money going to your bank account. I actually do. You retracted your message. I probably wanted to ask that somebody else. On that topic, yes, I actually believe in stocks, and actually stocks are doing pretty well right now. And rather than keeping your money in the bank in a checking account where you get a return at probably 2% a year or something like that, or a month, it's better to try to invest something and you get around 7% back. So it's the return rate is higher than the inflation rate. So I recommend it, but that's not what is the topic about. But I'm passionate about financial independence as well. So if you're ever interested in that topic, make sure to let me know, and I'll talk about that as well. Ben. He was king not just for kids, but adults too. Love and peace to all who knew him. He'll be missed. Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Dina, I think you're having a huge contact with open source now in your bootcamp. Some open source project that you got your attention. Do you want to start contribute with one of those? I never done open source actually, and it's a good topic. I would actually like to participate somehow. And one thing that I'm considering, I don't have an open source in mind right now, but there is a hackathon that will be in October, and it's I think it's Hackathon for Good or something like that. That you try to solve problems, not software. Provides software solutions for nonprofit organizations. So probably contribute like that, but I don't have any open source in mind. Where stocks are fantastic. Yes, they are. You have to be careful with them. It's easy to... Black Panther. 2020's course. I don't know where the conversation is going, guys. Lord test. Oh my God. What are we doing? Yeah, I opened up right now the Google. I didn't know about that, so that sucks. It's hard. It's hard when people die. It's never easy. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for clarifying, Lord. I was not sure what the conversation was about, so thank you for clarifying. Arthur, hi, you are so calm. May I know your view on backend development versus front-end development? I am a backend. I prefer backend more than front-end. I find that there are so many more. The value is, for me, again, this is me. That doesn't mean it's necessary truth for everybody, but for me, backend is more valuable. You solve real problems there. Front end for me, it's more like, oh, do I put the pixel here? Like, do I move this button a pixel here, or do I put the component here, or do I wrap the component in something else? I literally enjoy more backend. Front end, it's fun sometimes, but I am a back-end developer more. Anthony Harris, hi guys. Bashel, existe programación competitiva alguna vez? No, nunca hice. Bashel is asking if I ever programmed competitively, and I'm not a competitive programmer. I just never tried because I don't do well. Like when, like, oh, I have to come up with an idea right away. Somehow it's much worse than I don't, like, if I don't put my mind, I have to get this done. I have to get this done in 5 minutes, or I have to get done this in 15 minutes, or I have to solve it. I actually solve this much better. I'll give you an example. I have to go, but I'll give you a quick example, and I think I will wrap it up. In the middle of my bootcamp, we were having assessments, and it was, what was it? It was graphs assessment that I practically failed, to be honest. But I passed. But to be honest, the problem was super simple. I just got into my head somehow that I don't have enough time, and I blocked myself. I could not read the instructions. I could not do stuff. So to pass the assessment, I needed to get 13 points for that practice problem, and I got 7 for that particular problem. But anyways, I got the necessary points to pass the assessment. And I was super mad that I was not able to solve that problem. Later, when I calmed down, I sat down to try to solve that problem. I read it once. I sat down and I tried to solve it, and I solved it within 15 minutes. And earlier that day, I had an hour and a half. In an hour and a half, I could not solve it. And it was because I was in this like, oh, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. So I'm blocking myself in those cases. So yeah, I'm not competitive. I cannot do competitive programming, I don't think. That is Duncan. Have you ever used Golang? If so, what are your thoughts? I have never used it. I am planning to learn it. I plan to learn Golang, and I'm planning to invest some time in machine learning and Flutter. So we'll see how that goes. What are your thoughts about it? Do you mind sharing? Lord, can you share which hardware software you're using for your streaming right now? That's funny. I planned to use my laptop. That's kind of initially what I had. Like, I will quickly show what I was planning to do. I cannot share that because it's closed. This was my setup. What I wanted to do, right? I wanted to use my camera and my laptop to stream. But somehow my laptop was saying that the camera is blocked or something like that. It's just, I didn't have enough time to sort that out. Right now I am streaming from my iPad Pro, and for audio I'm using, ouch, sorry for that noise. I'm using a Rode mic. So I have the mic here. That's kind of the setup that I have. Ideally, I would sit at my computer and do stream from my computer, but the camera, the webcam that I have, the quality there is much worse than on my iPad Pro or from my laptop. So yeah, that's what I am using right now. To be honest, I don't really enjoy doing that from iPad Pro because with the application here, the messages disappear. They show up for a few seconds and they disappear, and I don't have enough time to read it. So I'm trying to hold the messages so they don't go away. Okay, where was I? Okay, Simon Sharp. Yeah, I'm more a front end kind of a guy. Okay, tell me why. Like, why do you like front end better than back end? Active Decoder. Any tips for first day as a full stack developer? Are you a first day developer or a first day at work? Congratulations. Like, I mean, it's Sunday today, so hopefully it's not your first day today, but congratulations. Any tips? Try to take one step at a time. Anything you do, try to break it down into smaller, manageable pieces. And the smaller they are, the easier it will be to complete them, and easier to get into that mindset that you're making progress. As soon as you completed something, you move it on. So that will be my recommendation. Try to keep something but bite size, manageable. Try to, like, when you're stuck, make sure that you are not afraid of asking for help. It's better to, like, first try it, try to get it solved, and if it took you probably half an hour and you didn't do any progress, reach out for help. And when you reach out for help, the recommendation will be to actually say, here, I tried this, I tried that, I think probably this will work, what do you think? Don't expect somebody to solve the problem for you. When you reach out for help, reach out with a potential solution and see what people have to say. What else? Just try to stay calm and positive, and things will come naturally. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them. So don't be afraid of trying something. Actually go towards what you haven't tried, towards something that you are not comfortable with. That's how you will learn faster, and you will become much better at that. Hopefully those are some valuable tips. Daricus, don't give in to imposter syndrome. How do you know I'm getting into it? Like, I literally, I do have imposter syndrome most of the time. I feel like an imposter, even though I was pretty successful at work. I done pretty good things. People enjoyed working with me. I enjoyed working with them. I had good good projects. Actually, I would say great project in time and on budget, and really good feedback. But anyways, always I feel like it was just luck. I felt like it was a coincidence or something like that. So imposter syndrome for me, it's a real thing. Karthik, thank you for your views. One more doubt. Do backend developers always develop APIs? What else do they do other than APIs? Oh my God. Well, in case of web development, they probably, yes, they are doing APIs. But if we're not talking about web development, like with C#, I probably was considered a full stack as well, right? And I was doing everything. The majority of my work was in the business knowledge, right? And everything I was doing, it was for the application itself. and it was more focused on the data layer, business layer, and all that stuff. So it's not, it depends on what are you doing. Like, is it web development? And it's not always APIs, because, well, I'm not, to be honest, I'm not sure, but in my opinion, I believe they're doing much more than that. So I haven't developed professionally as a web developer. What I've done desktop application, and in those cases, backend is much more than just APIs. Where Penguin? One more question: do you balance interview prep with parenting? I'm balancing everything with parenting. Right now, I haven't actually done any interview prep actively. Last week, it was for me getting my resume ready, getting my cover letter ready, updating my online presence like LinkedIn, AngelList, and all that stuff, ready, preparing my portfolio. But I haven't done any active interview prep. Like, even though the companies that I mentioned that I was interviewing with, like Amazon, that I had interviews, Microsoft, Google, I haven't prepped for those. I didn't do any algorithms or anything like that for those. Prior to that, I did have time. Prior to that, I did have time to do algo export, but it was not during the times I had the interviews. So, yeah, I haven't done anything recently. But to answer your question, do you balance interview prep with parenting? Yes, I'll have to do that. And that's kind of the life of a parent. You have to balance everything. You have to balance work. You have to balance your personal projects. You have to balance interview itself. It's a full-time job, to be honest. And moving forward, I will have to come up with a schedule. Even though I'm graduating from the bootcamp, that doesn't mean that I stop learning. I will probably structure my day in such a way that in the morning, probably a few hours, I will focus on learning something, continue learning something, because in the bootcamp we went through stuff so fast. So I'll probably continue researching React and continue with Python. I want to really be proficient and feel good in Python, and then probably have to balance out interview prep as well. So I'll try to do some lead code and hockey rank stuff, and probably code wars or something like that. And obviously that will be done during the time I am a parent, right? So I'll have to schedule the day in such a way that I do have time to spend with my daughter, with my family, go for walks and play with them and have a good time. It's all a balancing act. Okay, Lord, what inspired you to start your channel? Seems like your channel is fairly new. Honestly, I wanted to have a channel where people feel comfortable talking about software engineering, and not like software engineering a lot of times feels such a kind of a domain that you have to be super smart, you have to be a genius to be able to be a developer, but in reality it's not true. There are different levels of software engineering, and nobody's born a genius, to be honest. Everything it's practice, learning, trying to improve, try something, and just build on top of that and develop your skills. So I wanted a place where people found that comfort and understanding that software engineering, you can become really good at it with patience, with time, and understand that there's so much more to software engineering than just knowing the technical stuff, knowing the syntax. Because as developers, you're not really only talking with computers, you're not only transferring your thoughts into ones and zeros, you're actually talking with people. You are creating software for people. You are solving real problems for people, or about something in life that matters for somebody. So all of those are really key values to be a well-rounded software engineer. So being able to communicate with stakeholders, internal, external, being able to collaborate, being able to find a balance in it and actually enjoy it, make it fun, that's kind of what motivated me. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do, try to help people to grow technically and professionally, and at the same time for them to feel good about it. So that are the motives for the channel. And I have a long way to go. I am trying to communicate better, to deliver the message better. It's a process that, it's something that I'm working on. I believe I have to become better communicator. It's really hard a lot of times for me to deliver the message that I'm trying to deliver. You cannot imagine how many takes I'm making to do a video, and a lot of times I won't even post a video even though I recorded something, just because I was not happy the way that I delivered the message, because it didn't make sense or something like that. So it's a process for me as well, where I'm trying to deliver value, and yeah, sometimes it's not that straightforward. It doesn't come easily. I'll be honest there. BB, hello lady, in your knowledge, what is the most powerful country in the programming? I think like software engineering right now, US is definitely a place for software engineering. It's definitely a hot place. Another good places for software engineering is like Israel. It's booming there with startups. As I mentioned, Finland, Estonia, Lithuania, like Baltic countries, I believe. I think London, like United Kingdom, started to be a hot place for developers as well. So there are multiple places, strangely enough or not, in Russia as well, in Poland as well. So there are multiple countries, it's not just one country. A very good point. I'm struggling so much as well. Is that to the comment why I decided to do the channel? Hopefully that's the case. Worry. If you're working with Python, I recommend Elements of Programming Interviews Python version. It isn't easy, but it's what I used. I do have programming Elements of Programming Interview book. I don't know if the Python is the Python version. Probably it is, but I'll check it out. Thank you for the recommendation. And if there are any other recommendations, feel free to drop them. Okay, Lord, at where Awari, I have had that book for 2 years, haven't touched it beyond a few pages. To be fair, I've been employed for a year at that point, but I want to review interview prep just for myself. That's a really good goal to have. Definitely recommend to be prepared. You never know. You might never need it, but it's better to be prepared. You'll feel so much better. Lord, holistic developer, I see. That was fairly descriptive. The title holistic developer certainly fits the goal of the channel. Well, thank you. I tried. I don't know how long it took me to come up with the channel for the channel name. I had so many ideas, and none of them kind of fit. And holistic developer I liked it, and I'm happy I picked it. Lord BB, hello lady. What a way to start a question. Yeah, that was kind of funny. I was like, okay, are you calling me lady because I'm old, or you don't know how to address me? By the way, I'm Anna, so you can call me Anna. Anthony Vidovic, do you think every programmer should learn some front-end, HTML, CSS, JavaScript? No, not necessary. There are different developers, different levels. So if the developer is not interested in front-end development, they shouldn't. So like it's basically what the developer is interested in. Are they interested in game development? And if that's game development, there's definitely a front end, but it's probably not necessary that it will be this. What time is it? Oh my God. I'm having such a good time with you and answering all these questions, great questions, but I have to stop soon. So do you think, okay, to answer the question, do I think every developer should learn JavaScript? It's a plus to know it, but I don't think it's a must. That's kind of what I want to say. If they want to, it's definitely beneficial. The more you know, it's definitely great, but it's not a requirement, to be honest, because if you want to be in desktop applications, well, you will probably do, if you are in .NET, you will do Windows Forms or something like that. If you are developing on mobile, you will be doing something else. So it depends on what the person wants to do. What age I start programming? I don't know if I should tell you. At age 19. And I started to program. I went to university to get a CS degree. And while I didn't have a computer, I got a computer, I think year 2 or something like that. Yeah, it's insane. I was getting a CS degree without a computer. I was solving the programs on paper and then writing them at the university, translating them into code at the university. So yeah, 19. What age did you start to code? Lord, I noticed that you have a Google Fi rack in your Discord. Do you travel a lot? I compared it to Mint Mobile, and Mint seems cheaper for the same data usage, but FI is better for international travel. You have a really good point there. For the longest time, I will tell you a little bit story. When I got to US, I didn't know anybody, I didn't know anything, so I got Verizon. And for the longest time, kind of the job that I had, it was minimal wage, and I was having Verizon. Then I learned that there are actually much cheaper versions. So I moved to Virgin Mobile, which it was, I believe, $15 a month or something like that. And I really liked it. However, for work, I traveled a lot for business. And when I was traveling, I was not able to get phone calls. And that was kind of an inconvenience for me. So later on, I discovered Google Fi. Actually, it was, at that time, I think it was Google Project 5 or something like that. I don't recall the name exactly, but it was a colleague that mentioned it, and he said that he loved it. So I decided to research it, and yes, I found it that is cheaper, and that actually it was not cheaper than what I had, because what I had, it was cheaper with Verizon Mobile. It was not Verizon, Virgin Mobile, and it was cheaper, but it didn't have roaming. You cannot turn on, even if you paid extra, you cannot turn on the Virgin Mobile roaming. It was not available in US. So at that time, I decided to get Google Fi, and I really recommended it. And after that, I actually got my husband to transfer to Google Fi as well, even though he's not traveling, or I stopped traveling as well. And to mention Mint, I learned about Mint 3 weeks ago, probably, from one of my cohort friends. She's in Florida and she has Mint and she likes it. And yes, it's cheaper. I decided to check out the coverage here in Seattle area, and the coverage in Washington State seems that Mint doesn't have such a good coverage. So that's kind of why I am not on Mint yet. But I really like Google, and when I traveled, it was a great service there. I really liked it. So hopefully I answered that question. Maybe. So if someone starts programming at 36, bad idea, do you think that? Nope. There is not an age for programming. You can program at any age. And I think I mentioned this before. There's a lady I think it's in Asia. She's somewhere in Japan or China. I don't remember where exactly she is. Probably Japan. She started to code at age 96 or 97, something like that. So if she can, you can definitely at 36, no problem. I don't think there's an age to start learning program. To start programming early is definitely a plus, but is not a must. I will answer it that way. Okay. It was a good shot. Lord, T-Mobile and Spring merged recently. It might make Mint coverage better, and Mint uses T-Mobile towers. I need to check. Okay, I'll have to look into that as well, because right now how much I paid, about probably $25 a month with my Google Fi, and most of the time home, so I'm not using any internet. How long until I become programmer? How many days I need? It's so different, BB. You can become developer, like, it depends how much time you invest into it. I would say at least 6 months. That's my opinion, to be decent, and probably 8 hours a day for 6 months. That's probably a minimum, in my opinion. But it can be done faster. It's so subjective. It depends. How comfortable are you with a lot of stuff? Okay, I guess if there are no other questions, I will wrap it up. Thank you for the chat. Lord 8, Anna, seems that chat is about to wrap up. Do you have another question? I probably have another 5 minutes. That was nice. Quick question. Do you see that this was useful, and should I actually post it? Will it be useful for other people to see it? Okay, BB, can you please suggest something to me? What do you mean to start? Do you suggest a book, or suggest a course, or a bootcamp? What are you asking about? Like, what are your plans? Which language to start? Pick up Python or pick up JavaScript. Those are probably the simplest to start with is Python. And there's a really good book on Python. I think it's what is it called? Simple Elements of Python Programming, or something like that. It's a really good book. I recommend it to start with that one. Lord, okay, where are the messages? Lord, Python got me through a few FAANG interviews. I recommend it. Yes, Python definitely is a good. Lord. Yeah, post it as a Q&A, but please post timestamps. I feel people will get some use out of it. Okay, thank you for the suggestion. Sounds good. What about C++? BB, C++ is good, but it's kind of hard to start with that. It has a lot of uses, but unless you want to actually program in C++ because you want to do some game development or something like that, start with C++. But the friendlier language to start with will be Python. But which channels you suggest in YouTube? Is that for learning? Oh my god. I think Tech with Tim. He's focused on Python, I believe. Tech with Tim is good. Mosh, programming with Mosh is good as well. Those. What other ones? Dev Simplified, I believe it's another good one. So yeah, that's kind of a few ones that come to mind. I will try to add it in the descriptions. Yeah, like I could actually, BB, I'll write it in the description, but also I'll probably create a video about it, and I'll tell you why those channels I recommend and which ones is better, like for what. Like, they're great. I love, there's like a channel that I really, really enjoy. It's for JavaScript. It's React development. Where is my YouTube? Where is it? Subscriptions. Where is the subscriptions that I have? The channels that I'm subscribed to. Free Code Camp is amazing. I don't know how I forgot about Free Code Camp. BB, check out Free Code Camp. It's amazing. You will find so much there. And Lee Holiday, it's awesome on different React projects. Okay, I will drop them in the descriptions so you can find them easily. But probably start definitely with free Bootcamp. It's amazing. And Risha, thank you very much for your contribution. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for being here. And if you have any questions you want to ask, make sure to drop them and I'll try to answer. And as of in about 2 weeks, I'm graduating, so I should be more available for different live streams or actually do videos. If you have a suggestion that you would like to recommend, feel free to recommend that. Great, Hanks, thanks for answering my question. By the way, I also started to program at 19 in college, but I wasn't brave enough to get a programming job. Impostor syndrome sucks. Only until I reached 36 I got back. Oh, I hear you. Great. Imposter syndrome it's a real struggle, and I hope you have people around you that can provide you with support, and just take it easy, one step at a time, and just know it's okay not to know everything, and it's okay not to be a genius who knows immediately what to do, because software engineering in reality is not something that, oh, I know what to do all the time. A lot of time is unknowns and research and experiments. So thank you very much, all of you. I appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to your suggestions, your questions, and actually looking forward for the next chat. I actually had a lot of fun. I didn't know what to expect when I started. For a minute or two, nobody was there, and it's like, oh, I'll be alone today. But I'm super happy that that was not the case. So thank you all. It was awesome. Wishing you all the best. Stay safe, stay sharp, and have fun. Until next time.